Hello New Zealand, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend. Well, this week the weather is changing from last week. We're going to have a different set of weather, more westerly driven. That drives in more cloud and showers to the western side of the country, but sunnier and warmer over on the eastern side, at least in the North Island, which was a bit cold and wintry last week. And in fact, this morning, despite this big low moving out to sea, they had frosts around Hawke's Bay. So we've had some frosty mornings, -3s and 4s around parts of the country again this morning. And so spring has kicked off a little cool for some areas, but like I say, warmer weather's coming, and it's mostly to do with the westerly winds out there. But the main feature right now is this area of low pressure. It's not very intense, but it is just tapping into a little bit of subtropical air, and therefore some of the rain that might move in over the very top of the country for Monday night and Tuesday, there could be some heavy falls, but the positive news is about 90% of it looks to be out at sea. But it might just brush some of those very northern regions on Monday night and Tuesday. And this is lunchtime Tuesday. Some of the heavier stuff out at sea, but it does get very close to Northland and Coromandel Peninsula. But for the most part, you're only going to have a few millimetres of rain. It will not be much. Most of the South Island is dry, high pressure out to the west. That may not actually do as much as you might think. Really, the westerlies south of the centre are going to be the main feature for the next few days ahead. So once we get to the middle of the week, Wednesday, in comes that high and gives the North Island some really settled weather. Now, there could just be a couple of lingering showers with a southerly around even through on Wednesday, but for the most part, that high is coming on in, and by Thursday, firmly in charge of the top of the country, which is dealing with this weak low over the next couple of days. So you kind of have a good balance this week. And with the westerlies coming back in, it means these eastern areas, which were really cold for the last week or so, colder than usual, you're going to be warmer than usual once these westerlies kick back in again. And then the rain also returns to the west coast around about Thursday, and it stays there as we head in towards the weekend as well on Friday. Some of the rainfall totals could build up a bit actually later in the week down on the west coast. Look at the winds. Very typical spring weather now. When you start to get highs to the north, lows off to the south, and the windy westerlies, that's very normal for this time of the year. So finally we're getting a bit more normality put back into the weather map for the end of the week. And then as we go into the weekend, it's not so flash on the west coast. There will be a period of heavy rain, and those winds are fairly strong as well, blowing through the southern Alps. They'll be blustery. That will help push up temperatures though in eastern areas on Saturday. In the North Island, maybe a little couple of showers around Taranaki and Waitomo, otherwise dry. And we end on Sunday, no real change. Northerly winds for the top, nor'westers for the rest of the North Island and the upper South Island. So this weekend is warmer. The theme this week is that it will warm up by the time we get to the middle part to the later part of the week. So that makes up for perhaps some of the cooler weather that we've just been having. That's all from me. We will catch you again around lunchtime on Tuesday.